I was terrified. Like, what is going on? How can somebody do this to somebody? I was like devastated because I felt helpless, and you never know what somebody's doing. Don't stop until something's done, because no one deserves this feeling at all.
Imagine walking down the aisles of your high school. It's a normal day. You're worrying about nothing when suddenly you notice something's off. Everyone's glancing at their phones while looking at you. You hear them whispering names at you. You wonder what's happening. Did I do anything? What's everyone looking at? You ask someone and he shows you a picture of you. A picture of you never took. An explicit picture that terrifies you. A deep fake. Deepfake technology was once a futuristic concept, but sadly, now it has become a cruel reality in high schools. Deepfake technologies are powered by accessible AI tools. Students today can generate realistic images or videos of their classmates, blurring the line between digital manipulation and personal violation. And while the content may be fake, let me assure you, the consequences are very real. A CNN article noted how girls are disproportionately targeted, often suffering in silence until the emotional toll becomes unbearable. This can be seen in a case from last year. In a high school in New Jersey, multiple girls were targeted by their classmates with AI-generated pornographic images of the girls. Thanks to this, the poor girls were bullied online by other students. This led the girls to become victims of the misuse of deepfake technologies. This also led the girls to experience feelings of shame, anxiety, and depression, which leads us to question, how does deepfake victimization affect the student's mental health? To understand the student's mental health impact due to deepfake victimization, we first have to understand why deepfakes are so dangerous. Deepfake images or videos typically start as a prank among teenagers. Teenagers think of this as something light, something that will mean no harm to anyone. However, deepfake images are no laughing matter. They represent a serious form of sexual harassment, and they're almost certain to cause a negative psychological effect on the victim. The dangers of deepfake technologies come from their accessibility. Creating deepfakes requires no specialized knowledge. With a smartphone and the right apps, anyone can generate and share manipulated content, including nude images, within minutes. After all of this, these images are shared online and people make fun of the victims, which leads us to talk about the risks and threats deepfake images pose to students. Deepfake images violate a student's right to bodily autonomy, which is the control over your own body without any interference. Due to this, victims experience an invasion in their privacy. Victims also feel like they lost control over their own bodies, as they feel like their classmates are stealing this from them. The bullying students face could lead them to develop symptoms of distress, shame, anxiety, and fear, which could lead them to socially isolate themselves, or in extreme cases, to have suicidal thoughts. But the victims are not the only stakeholder who suffer from this situation. Actually, schools are also deeply affected by these situations. A risk schools suffer from might be the reputational damages that these situations bring. A school's reputation is affected because of the intense backlash they might receive. This is because society might think that schools are doing nothing to prevent these incidents from happening, which in reality, to some degree, this might be true. Thanks to a report released by Education Week, we know that just 29% of teachers are aware of this deepfake epidemic. This shows the lack of awareness schools have towards this situation. The same report proved that schools are failing to show support towards the victims. Just 19% of students have said that their schools have explained what deepfakes are and their dangers. It is important for schools to explain the dangers of deepfake victimization. At the same time, schools need to apply preventive measures to stop this epidemic. Just a third of students have said that their schools are doing a good job at catching students who share deepfake content. So the damage is done. Is there any way a student can recover from this situation? And yeah, actually, there are some ways students can overcome the damages done by being victimized. One way could be to talk to a trusted adult or a therapist. Therapists might offer a victim strategies to overcome the trauma of the situation. This could allow the student to overcome the shame or stress the situation caused him. But I know it's hard to talk to an adult, especially when the situation is uncomfortable. So, what do? Do you just live your life with stress and shame? No. You could talk to someone who has overcome a situation like this one, another victim. It's easier to talk to someone you can relate to, as here you will feel no shame. Also, by talking to someone who has lived the same problem as you will gain the necessary advice to feel better about yourself. Schools can also support the victims in many different ways. The first and obvious reason would be for them to just communicate the dangers of these technologies. But the damage has been done, and talking about the dangers will change nothing. So, schools could create support groups for victims to make them feel better about themselves. Also, it is important for schools to show awareness towards the situation. Because if they show awareness, the victims will feel supported, and their fear will decrease. This might also help the school's reputation, as people will see that they are aware of the problem and that they are doing everything in their power to stop this. I believe deepfake victimization is something we should not take lightly, as many people from various countries are suffering from this epidemic. I also believe it is not okay for schools to be taking this as something unimportant, as it's important to keep teenagers safe and well, because in the end, they are the future of society. Talking about the future, we can now cover future developments. I believe in the future, the generation of artificial intelligence deepfakes will be easier. As we can see today, it is relatively easy to create this content. Now imagine in the future what this situation will look like with the rapid pace of AI development. But I also believe that even though this might seem like a threat, the rapid pace of AI development could be something good towards this situation. And how? Well, I believe in the future AI will be able to detect which videos are AI generated and which ones are not, which could help everyone differentiate deepfake content from real content. I also believe in the future governments will be able to implement stricter laws regarding the misuse of these technologies. This would prevent people from creating this type of content, as this would strike fear of the possible consequences one might face if they are caught generating deepfakes. Now, to conclude, let's make a quick recap of all the new insights we have gained from our inquiry. Firstly, we know that most victims are girls, which is something really sad, as girls tend to feel worse about situations like this ones because they tend to keep their feelings hidden, and as we saw, this is the cause of a deterioration in their mental health. Secondly, it is important for schools to communicate the dangers of deepfake victimization, as many students don't understand the consequences this can have over a victim's life. Schools need to implement regulations to stop these situations from happening, because it is not okay for some students to suffer because of a school's lack of awareness. And finally, we have to understand that victims of deepfake victimization don't just feel embarrassed by the situation. No. Instead, this makes them lose trust with things they feel close to, like their friends, classmates, and even social media. They feel like their trust has been broken. This could lead the victims to experience various mental health problems like depression, social anxiety, social isolation, stress, or even for them to start having suicidal thoughts due to the backlash and bullying they suffer from this situation. With all of this, we have gained the answer to our inquiry question by understanding how deepfake victimization has a negative impact on the students' mental health. And remember, if you ever fall victim to any of these situations, make sure to take the advice from this video. Be smart about this. Don't let anyone get in your head, because you know this is not you. You know you did nothing wrong. And you know you are not alone.